Welcome to Chase Stadium. Yeah, right behind me where I used to play. And Mr. Kieran Gibbs as well, my partner in crime today. Welcome to the Inter Miami C.F. weekly MLS show. We got a lot of stuff for you. That includes the return of Leo Messi. Yes, the GOAT. Colorado, a lost opponent. And Luis Suarez, player of the month as well. And we're looking forward. That's what we're going to do the deep dive here with a former England international, Arsenal legend, and a legend in my book, Mr. Kieran Gibbs, and I'm Thomas Rongen. Can't wait. Let's roll this music, by the way, Andy. Let's do it. And it all started last Saturday at Chase Stadium. The return of Leo Messi, the game against the Colorado Rapids, highly anticipated, a 2-2 draw in a pretty decent, well-played game that should have been actually 3 points, a late goal by Colorado. Also give you a preview of the Monterrey game, the big second leg in Mexico. And Kieran, I know you were at the game, and when Tata Martino rolled out that 11 without the big names, obviously, it became very important for this team, in particular, the substitutes, to show what they can do. And early on, Gressel, who's been pretty darn good from distance.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tom. It was a makeshift side again. You know, a really important game coming up this week, so he made changes. And, you know, Miami started the game a little bit off, but they grew into it as the game went on. Some decent efforts from both sides. No one really gaining control of the match, and this was the difference in the first half. This tackle here from Ryan Saylor just lunging in, and that gets sold on the dummy, and
Navarro then scores the 1-0 just before the half as well, and we were all sitting there anticipating, and yes, the GOAT, Leo Messi, comes in. So does his partner in crime, Mr. Busquets, leading now this team in the second half, and immediately, if the greatest player in the world is part of your 11 in this second half, things will change. Although Colorado initially from distance, Drake Callender again coming up big, Kieran.
Yeah, Drake instrumental again, holding the back line and keeping his team in the game as he's done so many times. Another great save.
Oh, take me through this. Franco Negri, by the way, in his first game with an assist, and then the GOAT himself with a brilliant, he makes the heart look very simple.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, quick shout out to Franco Negri, who's been out for a while with a serious injury. Great to see him back out there and getting involved in the game. But what a finish that is from Messi.
And I'm talking about finishes right here. Yes, it's Leo Afonso. Let me introduce him, another academy product. His first start, his first game, scores a goal. And when you get good service, you also are able to do something on set piece. That was Gomez, by the way, towering above people. Messi late again. Kieran Gibbs, unbelievable. In zone 14, the toughest zone, he always creates and is able to get something at frame.
Yeah, and then, to be honest, they could have had a chance to really seal the deal and get that third goal. That you could tell they were trying to get it. They were piling on the pressure, and that's unfortunately what happened in the end. They tried to play a little bit too much pressure on, and they just started to leave themselves a little bit exposed at the back, and the warning signs were there. And in the end, you have to say that a 1-0 draw was a fair result.
Yeah, transition defense, Kieran, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. It's been the Achilles heel of this team, obviously, leading 2-1. And by the way, this is the 89th minute of the game, and this turns into almost a 3v2 in favor of the team on the counter. Tata Martino there. Chris Armas, who had his stints, obviously, in MLS as well as the coach. But let's just talk again about the introduction and finally Leo Messi back after a month not being there and giving this team and the fans, by the way, everybody just stood up at halftime and Messi. Great feeling, obviously. And then he has 12 minutes of brilliance where he gets his team back in the game, actually leading 2-1. What is the impact? And you've played with some incredibly big-time players. What do big-time players or the best in the world do for a team?
Well, I think from the other night you could just clearly see an injection of really high quality and accuracy come into the game. The game completely opened up. Colorado have to deal with Messi, and they have to surround bodies around him because he's so dangerous, and it leaves spaces for other players. You saw Franco Negri get involved a little bit more offensively in the second half, and he just allows players more time and space to be able to help the team. So his impact is, just fundamental to this team, and we clearly saw that. I mean, he's at the heart of everything that Miami do when he's on the pitch, and he got his team back in it.
Yeah, and if you talk about the greatest, not just in soccer, but in all sports, be it Wayne Gretzky, be it Michael Jordan, and the list goes on, they also make players around them better. Which is a great trait of the greatest players, that not only drive themselves, but make. Robert Taylor's been a great example. When Messi early came, he was on the same wavelength. Now you see Negri finding Messi. Messi's secondary assist, because he reads that run of David Ruiz, and then while the ball is traveling, Leo Alfonso, the academy graduate, in his first game scores that brilliant goal. By the way, a lefty scoring with his right foot. And Kieran, you're a lefty. I mean,
didn't score many with my right
foot.
No,
but for him to be able to come inside and take the ball so well on the bounce, which is not an easy one, that young kid, the Brazilian, who's been in America for quite some time, again, another outstanding young player that performs at the highest level.
Yeah, I mean, what a proud moment for him to get a goal on his debut. Doesn't get much better than that. That will give him the world of confidence. A brilliant moment for him. I hope this, kickstarts his Miami career, because could do with all the help that we can get. With all of the games coming, it's a fierce time of the season, and you need all of your strengths right now.
Yeah, and let's go to the guy that's really, without Messi, had a tremendous run. Luis Suarez, 7 goals, 5 assists in all competitions, which is pretty brilliantly as well. Did not play against Colorado because back-to-back 90-minute games for an older player. Tata Martino up to rest him. But how big has Luis Suarez, and the combination of Suarez and Messi, by the way, that's I think 13 goals and 8 assists between those two.
I mean, I think it's just great to see his desire and determination remain the same after all of these years. He is constantly looking for how to be a threat to every opposition that he's playing in every minute that he's on the field. That's why he's getting so many goals and assists at the moment, and that's why he's missed when he's not been playing. This is what separates the good from the great.
Yeah, he certainly is. And we're going for Colorado Rapids to probably, arguably now, the biggest game, obviously, in the history of Inter Miami. That's the road trip, the second leg of the CONCACAF Champions Cup, quite frankly, where you can use, obviously, Luis Suarez scoring there of a Gressel, great ball with the head. You talked about the variety of goals he scores, left foot, right foot, chipping the goalkeeper. I think the bet for now is set. There, you got Bustetsi, you got Gomez, you got Messi, Luis Suarez. Looking at you, fill in the blank. I don't know where Leo Campana is in terms of injuries. Taylor, obviously we know Farias is still out. Redondo, who was huge, a big miss. But now, all of a sudden, you're looking at that starting 11, and you can fill in that blank right there on the road against Monterrey. How do we approach this game being down 2-1? How do you approach this game first and foremost?
Well, I think, you have to switch from competition to competition, which is always difficult, and you're going to have to approach the game differently because you're a goal down. It's always difficult because, they were a goal down, they get back into the game, the crowd's behind them, you get excited, your adrenaline's going, and you want to try and put the game to bed and get that third goal. It's just sometimes that does leave you exposed, and I think that Tata will definitely be, reminding his team of remembering what the state of the game is. Are we a goal down? Are we a goal up? You have to change the way you play sometimes and know what the best way is to get the result. So I think game management is going to be key for this game.
Yeah, and Tata Martino spoke on that after the game. He talked about what you talked about, managing the game better, which means, and you know that, you got team tactics, you got group and individual tactics. I think this team that was, by the way, leading in the last 3 games, Kieran, and 2 draws and 1 loss. You got to kill a game sooner or later, even if you have Messi on the field that wants to drive his team forward. I think leadership is very important. On the transition going against Colorado, both fullbacks are caught upfield. You lose a ball in a bad spot, which has happened. All of a sudden, in defensive transition, where we've been vulnerable, you become even numbers or numbers down, leading 2-1 close to the 90th minute. And I agree with you. That's something that needs to change. Also, don't allow this game to get away from you. And that's pretty simple. We have a tough time. So does Monterrey, by the way, keeping clean sheets. Monterrey, the last 2 games against Chivas, a 2-0 loss and a 2-1 loss against Pumas, which means they're vulnerable. They also concede. They don't keep a lot of clean sheets. And I think the team that's most disciplined and rides the momentum and the occasion, and I like to think, looking at our lineup, that these guys have been in some big games. Don't concede early, because then you got to score 3+ probably. So again, important that the little things you take care of.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it goes underrated actually. You know, it's an important factor. They can really affect, altitude can really affect how you play. I've played in states like Colorado, and you can feel the difference. So that's going to be really important. But like you said, we have a really dangerous team. So we know we can score at any moment. Don't try and chase the game in the first 10 minutes. Try to gain control. And I would like to see them, you know, especially with Busquets in the side, really bring calm to the team, and pick your moment and be prolific, because they have world-class prolific players on the pitch.
Correct. I mean, this game is far from over, in my opinion. And yes, you're facing a very, very good opponent in Monterrey. And as I said again, the Liga MX sides, they've normally got the better of the MLS sides over the year, but with the GOAT, and in particular, Inter Miami are road warriors. We've won 6 out of 8 games on the road, where we also, Kieran, scored 2+ goals. And that's why I talk about, we don't have to win this game in the first 15 minutes. I think the pressure, quite frankly, how do you handle a 2-1 up going home? Monterrey, the pressure of the game, the presence of Messi. Every time Messi goes on the road, and now to Mexico as well, which are fanatic about their love and passion for their football, it's always interesting that the dynamics. And I think that Messi and company feed off that. You know, they're going to Arrowhead, Kansas City, 60,000 people. Half of them will be cheering for Inter Miami as well. So there's very strange dynamics. And you've played in big games where all of a sudden your family members, they want tickets because Messi is playing. You know what I'm saying? So these players might not be as focused as they can be. Everything surrounding this game makes it intriguing, obviously. By the way, still third in the East, Kieran. You know, although results haven't gone our way as of late, we're still third. And making the playoffs, I think, is the most important thing. And then you talk about not just the Monterrey game, but any 1 or 2 of games with the GOAT and company and other players getting healthy, in particular Redondo. I would bet on Inter Miami pretty much each and every game. I mean, do you agree with that going forward?
Well, listen, you have to take each game as it comes. They have to shorten their horizon. You know, make their goals shorter day by day. Get rested, get recovered, block out all of the noise. Just focus on the job at hand, and they have the quality to do it.
And no, I'm going to throw to Gibbo right now to finish this job off, since I've done it only once. So Gibbo, take it away, baby.
Thanks for watching on the Inter Miami YouTube channel.
From Negri, the fullback, the cross in. Messi takes it in stride, in off the post. You just knew it would happen. The minute he set foot on the field, the atmosphere changed inside the stadium. And the complexion in this match has been turned on its head by the greatest, Leo Messi.